Now, before we get started and before everyone gathers their pitchforks, I want to make something clear. I'm a fan of both the action and horror side of Resident Evil, and this is only a fun discussion video, and it's not something to take serious at all. This is all for just fun. Whether you're new to the channel or old to the channel, we welcome all Resident Evil fans, whether you're a vet of the series or new to the series. So, Resident Evil. So before that, I'm going to divide the eras into 3 sections: fixed camera, third-person action, and RE engine. So let's start with fixed camera. Oh, and by the way, I'm just going to do the mainline titles of the series. And yes, I considered Code Veronica as a mainline game in the series. So anyways, let's start with the fixed camera. So the first Resident Evil was released in 1996 and essentially gave birth to the survival horror genre, with Resident Evil 2, 3, Code Veronica, and 0, games from the mainline series keeping that tradition alive, until the release of Resident Evil 4, which shifted the genre into a more action-based Resident Evil, as we all like to call it, the start of the third-person action era. The game shifted the industry as a whole, as other companies till this day uses Resident Evil 4 as an inspiration to their games. Then Resident Evil 5 and 6 was released. When 5 was released, it was worrying the fan base for the future of the series. The franchise was heading into a more action genre, even though people were already slightly worried after Resident Evil 4, even after enjoying it. People were afraid of their beloved franchise gone, or at least the horror aspect of it. Then Resident Evil 6 cranks up the action dial by tenfold. So that was the action era. A few years later, in 2017, we head into the start of the RE engine era, and we get Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Village, and now Resident Evil 4 Remake. So my question for you guys is, are we heading towards a more action-based future in the franchise? Is the series going to make people feel as though Capcom has lost touch to the franchise once again? Or do you think it will be different this time? So we all know Resident Evil 5 will be, well, eventually remade. Separate Ways is on the way, and literally everyone wants a Code Veronica remake. So are we headed to a action-sided future? And my honest answer, yes, 100%, but no. Now, hear me out. I think why people were upset was not the fact that action Resident Evil games exist, but because Capcom stopped making survival horror and horror games in general. See, the franchise has expanded into movies, shows, CGI films, mangas, games, figurines, gun collaborations, even appearing in other games. But you get the point. The series is now huge, and the reasoning why we have so many different genres within the franchise, which is insane to think about, but it all makes sense. Now, how do we fix this problem, quote unquote? You fix it by not stopping the action Resident Evil games. You don't do that. You don't want to do that. But to also make horror games at the same time. Not only it'll be great for Resident Evil fans, but it'll keep the series fresh. For example, we'll have Resident Evil 5 action-based, while Code Veronica Remake will be horror-based. Or Resident Evil 9 can be action-based, while Revelations 3, quote-unquote, is horror-based. So now we have this duo dynamic of genres within Resident Evil that will literally keep the series fresh. Do I think action in Resident Evil is bad? Absolutely not. Do I think horror in Resident Evil is bad? Absolutely not. I only think it's bad when you discard a beloved genre as a whole. Expansion is always good. You never want to replace, you want to add to it. Same goes with some of the Resident Evil remakes and some of their cut content. It's literally the same general idea. Are they in a better spot now than before? 100% yeah. They're definitely in a better spot. And I think now this is what they're doing. They're going to keep switching from horror to action, which is completely fine with me. I actually like that. I think if they keep making these cycles of horror and action, then the series will be in a healthy place for good. But again, I do love the horror and I do love the action in my Resident Evils. As long as they're good games, I don't mind what it is. But alright guys, if you like the content, be sure to like the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the horror or action side of Resident Evil more? Or both, like myself? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I want you guys to have an amazing day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And until then, peace.